And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ice at the Children's Health Star Center in Plano, Texas. I'm Justin DeVellis, joined by my cohort Jared Nyland. We're here to call this game between the Florida Gulf Coast University Eagles and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So, Jared, both teams coming into this game, maybe not with the starts they wanted in the men's Division III national tournament. And the loser of this game is probably going to be eliminated from...
Sorry if I cut you off there a little early. My bad. But if Nebraska wins this game, actually Michigan clinches this pool. So if Nebraska wins, both teams are eliminated.
Yeah, so pretty interesting storyline here. Florida Gulf Coast losing that nail-biter yesterday 3-2. Nebraska lost to Michigan 5-0. So they haven't even recorded a point yet. So the Cornhuskers are trying to get going. And you need to get a point to win games.
Exactly. Florida Gulf Coast, it's a must-win. Like I said, it's got to be weird being Nebraska already, knowing you're already out, because if you win, you're out. If you lose, you're out. I mean, you're out. Their win would basically clinch would clinch Michigan a bid. Now, a Florida Gulf Coast player just went into the box. Are they calling a delay a game or something? What?
Interesting start to this one, Jared. I'm not sure exactly what the call is. We're trying to get it to you as quick as we can. We're going to get our stats people on it.
They're going to start off with a penalty.
Interesting.
I've never seen this.
This is going to be good.
Wait, there's a Nebraska player in the box now, too.
We got a player for each team in each penalty box to start the game. The clock hasn't even started yet.
I've never seen this.
So, we play on anyway. We skate. We start 4-on-4 into the far corner. Florida Gulf Coast in those white unis. Nebraska in the black with the red trim, and a shot here. Quick opportunity is saved, and it's out in front. Now it's at the goal line. It's behind Florida Gulf Coast trying to get back. They send it up to the left point and just trying to work it around now. Now it's to the far point, into the far corner. Nebraska just lets it go. It's behind the cage, thrown out in front. Shot, score, chance, almost to score. And Florida Gulf Coast now gets some breathing room as they try to send it across the neutral zone. Evan Johnson handles it, throws it in. Left circle, shot blocked by Alfonso Diaz. He got down to the ice to block that one. And now the puck is headed to the neutral zone. And weaving in for Florida Gulf Coast, that's Kyle Horvath. The puck is out in front, left on the doorstep. And we see guys flying around on the ice. Only a minute gone in this game.
I think Stansfield got a piece of that one, and if he did, wow, what a save. But yeah, action on both ends. On the other end, the Florida Gulf Coast goaltender had to make a beautiful save. Cornhuskers had a grade A opportunity right in that slot area, but both teams starting with a little bit of firepower.
Yeah, so 1 minute now left of 4-on-4 hockey. Remember, player for each team started in the box, so there's going to be a draw at the far circle on Nebraska's end. Nebraska wins the draw. They send it around to the near side boards. It's Mason Lundquist. Stolen. Good chance here for Nebraska. Here comes Alex Robbie skating past the left circle. Tries to get it in front. Nothing doing. And he kind of just fell on his backside as we get a whistle.
Thought we were maybe going to get a penalty shot there, but it'll just be a tripping call. So a minute 17 in this, we're going to go to 4-on-3 hockey.
And this game has started fast. I mean, it was 4-on-4 to start, and we just have a rocket fire intro.
We're a minute. So we're minute 17, and we have 6 penalty minutes total already. Yet, really, there's been no dirty play. That's the weirdest thing about it.
Yeah, so Nebraska's going to get to go 4-on-3 here. They're going to have the one-man advantage as the draw takes place. It's left out in front. Shot just kind of lobbed in. Didn't really try a big chance there was Rob. As Rob sends it across that ACHA logo. Now it's down to the left circle. Now it's back up to the right point. Trying to weave it in there. It's out in front of the net. But Michael Kirch is there to smother it. It looks like... And we're just trying to get the goalies situated here with all the penalties. Jared Birch So Kirch got the start yesterday. They switched goalies, and now Nebraska wins the draw in Florida Gulf Coast zone.
And then on the other end, it's Bennett Stanchfield for the Cornhuskers. He played in yesterday's game against Michigan.
Lobbed in front, tried to glove it down, did Willie Lutz. And now it's to the far corner, weaving in. Nebraska steals it again as they send it to the neutral zone. It's Jonathan Cowley weaving through. He tries to throw it in front of the net, and a shot chance. Almost got it by the glove of Birch. And we're still scoreless. Now it's a 5-on-4 penalty play still, 1 minute. Nebraska still has this one-man advantage as they send it into the zone here. They're at the far corner. They got numbers, and it's sent around behind the cage. Chris Heisek has it. He weaves through, facing defense from Wyatt Engelman, and Nebraska has it on the far corner. They send it across. Over by the left circle now, weaving. Evan Johnson has it. He gets it to the left point, looking, being patient with it. He sends it to the high slot, now back out to the point. It's by the far boards. Nebraska being patient. There's 29 seconds left on this power play. It's stolen by Florida Gulf Coast. 17:09 to go in the first period. Justin DeVellis and Jared Nyland on the call. Glad you could be with us on the ACHA network, as we had a pretty crazy start to this one.
We did. I like what Nebraska did on the power play. I know they didn't get a ton of shots off of it, but I did like how they were setting it up. They had some decent looks. We'll see if they can continue the success.
And the Cornhuskers send it through the neutral zone. Good defense being played by Elijah Lee for the Eagles. It's on the far side, sent through, now back out into the neutral zone and towards Nebraska's end, and we'll have an icing.
You know, in a lot of these games that I've been calling throughout the week, these first games against a team, you try to feel each other out. You want to see what the other team's made of, but not in this one. It's just been up and down. 4 shots already for the Cornhuskers, 3.5 into this. Florida Gulf Coast only has 1, but it was a really good scoring opportunity.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast, 2 different goal scorers yesterday. Kyle Horvath had a goal and an assist. He only had 6 goals all season, and he scored yesterday in the first round. And here come the Eagles back the other way, blocked by Stanchfield. The puck is loose out in front, and it sails right. Nebraska steals it away, but Florida Gulf Coast keeps it in. And we're now back behind the cage, sent out in front, but nobody was there. And Florida Gulf Coast has it now behind their own net. They're going to try to send it through. It's Shea Matruska throwing it through the neutral zone. Just kind of flips it up. 15:50 to go in the first period. Shots 4-2. And the puck is out in front. Got a good chance here. Florida Gulf Coast trying. They're pressing. They're pressing the net. They got guys in front. And that one was sent through. It's Horvath. He's got it. Now they feed it to Horvath. He's in the high slot, but has it stolen. Where Spencer Bell is going to corral it, send it around. Nebraska trying to wrestle that puck back from Florida Gulf Coast. That shot was sent right at Stanchfield's pads. And Nebraska comes back the other way. The Cornhuskers skating from right to left. Florida Gulf Coast skating from left to right, and they have a chance here. It's Cody Tremblay. He skates around, kind of just backhands it into Stanchfield's pads. Nothing doing. Florida Gulf Coast stolen away. Here comes Nebraska. And here's a chance. Into the lane, it's Cody Walters. And a chance, big chance there for Walters, who somehow got free. It was a 2-on-1, not in his favor. He was able to skate by. And now Nebraska's just trying to pick up the pieces here and get back to even. They have the puck. They lose it. It's out in the neutral zone. Blake Hartman chases after it, sends it through.
You know, for Birch, Jared Birch not playing yesterday for Florida Gulf Coast, he's really coming out hot in this one, which sometimes if you don't play a while as a goalie, you can get a little rusty, but not Birch.
Ooh, and they had a good chance there. A nice centering pass. Florida Gulf Coast has it out in front of the net. It's in between the skates. Now Nebraska's going to come back the other way with Cody Walters again. He's controlled a lot of these rushes for the Cornhuskers. And Florida Gulf Coast regains it. The puck is passed right by us, the near side. And skating through is Alfonso Diaz. Just tried to whip it through the neutral zone, but he whiffed on it, and he was unsuccessful. It's behind Florida Gulf Coast's net now. Nebraska pressuring the puck. Florida Gulf Coast really doesn't know what to do, Jared, at this point. It kind of looks like they're just trying to get by the Cornhuskers, but pretty good defense right here.
Yeah, I think they kind of want to settle this game down a little bit, but they don't really know how to. You know, they had the surprising loss yesterday to the 4-seed Fordham. You know, they're on the back of their heels. They lose this game and they're out. And Michigan would clinch the pool, so they got to settle down, I think, a little bit. I think the nerves are a little up there right now.
So Nebraska has it now out in front. It's the far side boards where David Cross will cross it through the neutral zone, or at least tries to. And it's over by the red line now. Here comes Florida Gulf Coast, a shot and a save. Cross tested Stanchfield there, and a good chance. And the shots are 6-5 in Nebraska's favor.
That's what I was going to say. We already have 11 total shots, just under 7 minutes into this one. So high-powered offenses coming out right now in this one.
Yeah, so the draw will be on Nebraska's end. Shea Matruska wins it for the Eagles, a drive, but just sails high. And Florida Gulf Coast is trying to send it in. They're over by the blue line now. They do send it in. Stanchfield gets a stick on it, where Florida Gulf Coast is pressuring the Cornhuskers. 12:45 to go in the first period. Justin DeVellis and Jared Nyland here, and here's a turnover. Almost a chance there for Florida Gulf Coast. It's to the far side now, where Nebraska is just battling for it. Trying. It's all about the possession here. A lot of chances. Florida Gulf Coast winds, fires, but the shot kind of lost some mustard as it got closer to Stanchfield. Now over the blue line, there's 4 Florida Gulf Coast defenders, but the puck is loose now. Alex Robb has a chance at it out in front. Save by Birch.
Actually, it was Theodore Pupila that was able to get a stick on it as well. I think Birch got a piece of it, but he basically saved the goal from going in back door.
Yeah, so nice defense there. This game has been so exciting. 11:54 to go in the first as Florida Gulf Coast gets it past the red line. They flip it in where Ben Raymond trying a shot, sent out in front, centering pass for the Eagles. The puck is loose out in front, and now it's sent to the point where it's fired, but no good. Connor Black sent it through, and now it's tried to keep it in, but goes back out into the neutral zone.
Florida Gulf needs to do a better job right now of keeping it in the offensive zone. They've gotten rushes and chances off rushes, but I think they need to set it up a little bit more in the offensive zone like the Cornhuskers have been doing.
And you're right, Jared, as the puck goes back out to center ice, where Alfonso Diaz whips it through. It's on the near side now. Florida Gulf Coast trying to weave, and a shot.
Ooh, he didn't know where it was.
And a save, yeah, he didn't know. He looked around like to his back by his right shoulder, and that could have been dangerous.
Really could have been. This is a fun hockey game so far. Up and down, it seems like. We have 14 shots in all, 7 apiece, so it's not like it's been one-sided either with excitement. Both ends getting really good scoring chances, and just, you know, both teams are playing really well to start the first half of this period.
Yeah, we're about halfway through the first. As Florida Gulf Coast has a shot right out in front, and they convert.
Yeah, it was Wyatt Engelman right there in the slot area. Got the pass from back behind the goal line, right in a grade A scoring chance area, and he was just able to bury it past the goaltender Stanchfield. So it took 8 shots, but they finally got one past Stanchfield.
So 9 minutes, 10 seconds into the first period. Wyatt Engelman is your guy for Florida Gulf Coast. The score is 1-0.
And if you're Florida Gulf Coast, I know you've let up a lot of shots already, but you really can't ask for too much of a better start. You're up 1-0 in a game that you must win if you want to make tomorrow matter.
And here come the Eagles now. Nebraska's giving pressure. Florida Gulf Coast could easily extend this lead if they keep the pressure up. 10:27 to go in the first period. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland here on the call. Division III of the men's national championships. Pool play. On day 2, Florida Gulf Coast leads Nebraska 1-0 early on. 10:08 on the clock. Nebraska flips the possession, sent across. And now it's in the neutral zone. They just flip it through. It's gloved down by Alfonso Diaz. Diaz, we've called his name a lot so far in the first period. Mulholland carries it now. It's poked away. Cross trying to move it. They move it along the near side boards. And Nebraska's going to pick up this puck with 9:42 to go in the first period behind their own cage.
If you're Nebraska, I don't think you can be upset. You know, we said Florida Gulf Coast is really happy with their start. I know you're trailing 1-0 if you're a Cornhusker, but I think you just got to keep your head up and keep putting the puck on net.
Yeah, shots are the name of the game, and chances are good when you get a lot of them. Nebraska at the goal line. Almost a hit there. Avoided. And a pass out in front into the neutral zone. And we haven't seen many hits up along the boards yet, but I get the feeling that they're coming.
Yeah, there's been one or two probably, but yeah, these seem like two teams that are going to lay the body eventually. I think they're just they're playing with speed right now, though.
And Florida Gulf Coast using that speed like you talked about. To the far side corner, the puck kind of trickles out in front. That could have been dangerous. And now it's into the neutral zone. Here come the Eagles skating ahead. It's Connor Black. Black sends it through, but the puck deflected. And Nebraska gets the chance to go back the other way. It's a 2-on-3. They don't have numbers, but they're going to try anyway. And the puck's deflected. It's in the neutral zone now. There's bodies on the floor. Somebody's trying to grab it. And when all is said and done, it's Blake Hartman who takes it for the Eagles. 8:27 to go in the first period. 1-0 your score. Wyatt Engelman, the lone goal scorer for Florida Gulf Coast. 9 minutes, 10 seconds in. He scored it, and now the Eagles have another chance. It's Cohen who fires. Saved by Stanchfield. And he flicks it back out. Nebraska's got a chance here. A 2-on-3. Florida Gulf Coast got back on defense pretty well. The puck's set out in front, and now it's behind the net. Now to the far side boards. And now it's back behind the cage. It's Hartman. He gets hit, drilled to the ice. Justin Bonthius for Nebraska.
Cornhuskers are kind of scrambling now themselves. Last couple of minutes, they haven't been able to do much.
And Bonthius stole it, tried to send it out in front. But Hartman was there. And now a big hit up along the Nebraska bench. And they have it ahead of their own blue line, trying to weave through. But Eagles' defense is too good there. Now skating through. Raymond, stolen away, and here we go. Big chance here. Engelman looking for a second goal. We're going to get a whistle.
Cross-checking penalty coming up to Florida Gulf Coast. Wow. That's a surprising call right there.
So it's going to be the cross-check. 12 minutes, 40 seconds in to this first period. And we're going to see who gets sent to the box. Shots are 9-8 in favor of Florida Gulf Coast. Stanchfield's been pretty good. He was good in the last game, even though the score maybe doesn't indicate that. But he was good. He tried to keep his team in it for as long as he could. But, I mean, here today we've seen it's been fast. It's been physical at times, not as much. But you got to talk about the speed of both these two teams, Jared.
And I think we're going to head to are we heading to a media timeout? I'm not positive the buzzer sounded. Looks like we are not. But I was told by one of the ACHA directors now, the penalties at the beginning were due to protocol issues. So not just one team, it was both teams that had the protocol issues. I didn't get a specific on what they did, but that was what those penalties at the beginning were.
So great that we got that little tidbit there from one of our ACHA directors. Good snag. Jared Fitzgerald's going to go to the box and serve that penalty for 2 minutes as Nebraska has a chance here to knot things up. They send it in, save. The puck was loose out in front. And now it's over to the left circle. Now back out to the point. To the right circle, inside. Nebraska tried to send it across, and that's very dangerous when the puck crosses the defense like that. Now a big drive, almost left on the left there. There was a wide, gaping hole in the net. Almost a chance for Nebraska. Now they send it back to the right circle. Flipped ahead where it's saved. Glove down. I can't tell if he got his... Yeah, he did. It was a glove save. Glove save by Birch. So, yeah, that's interesting, the protocol.
Yeah, after the intermission, we might figure out what exactly they did. But, Nebraska didn't score on the power play yesterday. But this power play looks really good right now. They're moving the puck around to basically all over the offensive zone. And they've gotten some really good quality chances.
And they got a minute 12 to go on the power play. 6:30 to go in the first period. And they just kill it right there. Send it back. Waste a little time off the clock. It's Nebraska now. Johnson weaving around the left circle. It's getting poked at. And he'll send it back up to the point. It's Raymond who sends it across, but there's nobody there. Florida Gulf Coast is going to take it through the neutral zone, and a big hit. Johnson laid the hammer. 44 seconds now left in the power play. 6 minutes to go in the period. 1-0 Florida Gulf Coast as Nebraska controls over the red line now. Out to the wing. Weaving around the left circle. Now out to the left point where it's whipped to the near side boards. Kind of just flicks it behind them. And the Cornhuskers are trying to get something going here. They control it at the blue line, and it's out. They can't keep it in, so they'll have to reset. Great pressure on the play by Wyatt Engelman. He's been the man on offense, now getting it done on defense. 5:30 to go in the first period, but now Nebraska has a chance close to the net. It's Robb who tried to flip it up, but Birch got a shoulder on it. Here's Robb again with a chance, and now he sent it out, sent the cross shot save. A huge drive by Chris Brown.
Yeah, it really was, and good job by Florida Gulf Coast to kill his penalty off. I know there's 1 second left on it, so they won't score the power play goal, but it really could have, in a way, been a 2-goal swing because Engelman was on the way down on a breakaway. Could have potentially been a goal there, but then if Florida Gulf Coast would have allowed Nebraska to score, rather than possibly being up 2-0, it could have been 1-1. So good recovery after the potential breakaway was taken away.
Joe Ketting tries to win the draw for the Cornhuskers. He does a huge shot and a goal. Huge chance for the Cornhuskers as they knot things up at 1 from the point. What a shot.
Well, it wasn't on the power play technically, but may have put the little broadcaster curse on that one because that was basically 2 seconds after that expired. So who knows? Might have been a little bit of a 2-goal swing, and that's disappointing for Florida Gulf Coast because you do kill off the penalty statistically, but right after it expires, you let Nebraska tie this one up at 1.
So the face-off at center ice. This game now knotted up. You can feel the energy in the broadcast booth because the fans are into it, the players are into it. You said it's a fast, exciting game.
Yeah, I mean, look at the shots. They're 14-9 right now.
And at the 14:47 mark, that's when the goal occurred. Chris Brown knots it up at 1. Jared, there's 4:47 to go in the first period. We've seen a ton of different things happen in the first period, starting with that protocol penalty before we even drew
and then not even a minute 13 in, there was another penalty called, so you get an early power play, and it was 4-on-3. A breakaway was basically negated due to a cross-checking. There's been a ton of offense, so it's really been an exciting game as the goaltender gloves it right there.
Florida Gulf Coast wins the draw. Horvath tries to send it in. But not too much on that shot, it didn't seem like.
No, and that was actually Nebraska's, that's their first goal of the tournament. They got shut out yesterday against Michigan, so they finally get one in the back of the net. And you know what? It's got to be good to happen in the first period because I think that builds the confidence. I don't think they wanted to go into another intermission having no goals.
And now it's behind the net, just trying to poke at it, push it across. But Florida Gulf Coast is unsuccessful, and a nice save there by Stanchfield.
Shots 14-11 now in favor of the Cornhuskers. They were out shooting Florida Gulf Coast by 5 when they were trailing, but now they got that equalizer with that 14th shot.
Face off on the far circle now. Sent out in front of Chance. But Cohen couldn't whack it with his stick. You saw him. He wound up. He tried to push it through. But the puck just didn't find his stick there.
You know, sometimes with this many shots this early, they're not of quality. I'd say at least half of these 26 total shots have been quality shots from both ends.
So 4:08 to go in the first period. Your score 1-1. Shots 14-12 in favor of Nebraska. And it's gloved down. We get a whistle. As Florida Gulf.
That could have easily been a penalty there. Number 19, Jacob Miller of Nebraska. He just slapped the stick out of Craig Fitzgerald of Florida Gulf Coast.
Ooh is right. And then looks like it was Steve Dahl on the far boards who kind of just punched his stick in frustration, hit the boards with it. And a huge wind-up, but the shot is blocked before it could even get any room. Now up along the boards, the near side, and a big hit there. Tremblay laid the wood. Now it's across the red line. Here comes Cohen. Weaves around. Gets it to the left point. Tried to feed it behind him. He had a man, but they just whiffed on the pass.
Yeah, Tremblay just was a little forward of that puck and just couldn't quite get a stick on it.
And here's Johnson. He tried to weave through, and the puck is loose. And Nebraska controls. Jordan Hank, Nebraska's leading scorer all season. We finally call his name. We haven't said it much today as Florida Gulf Coast tries to get it out. Nebraska keeps it in now. Off a little bit of a rebound here. Tassler gets it through. Now a shot and a block. As I want to say that was 26, Black. It was Black who got on his knee to get in the way of that shot. 2:58 to go in the first. A little pickpocket there. Back the other way. It's Malcolm who fires, but off the stick of Ben Raymond, it goes up into the mesh.
You know, as we near the intermission for this first period, as there's 2:49 left to go, I wonder how many adjustments each team will make defensively for the second period, or if both teams are going to kind of just keep their offense flying mentality. It'll be interesting to see how different the second period is from the first.
So 2:49 to go. Now a pass, but it hit the back end of the skate and almost trickled into Nebraska's net. It was almost an own goal. 2:39 to go in the first period. We're knotted up at 1. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nylon with you here on the call. Glad you could be with us on the ACHA network. It's now behind Nebraska's net. 2:28 to go in the first, and now it's thrown up into the mesh. It's bright in here. The lights are really bright. The ceilings are really low.
See, you said they were low last night. These are such high ceilings, especially compared to the rink where I broadcast games up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan. I mean, they're half this height. I see so many dead pucks during those broadcasts just because of the length or the height of them.
And now it's stolen back the other way, but coming on the back end, I want to say it was Engelman, not sure, but it was somebody from Florida Gulf Coast who got from behind and was able to poke that puck out. 2:06 to go in the first period. Florida Gulf Coast weaves it around. We're going past the blue line now through the neutral zone. Over the red. It's poked. It's stolen. And here comes Nebraska. 2-on-1 here. It's Tassler. Passes to his right. Shot out in front. And there was a lot of activity in front of the net. The puck was loose, but Birch was able to save it, and somebody went flying into the net.
Yeah, it was Diaz from Florida Gulf Coast smoked Tanner Tessler right into that post. And, wow, it was a bang-bang play right there on that post, and Diaz definitely laid the lumber.
1:51 to go in the first period, Jared. It's 1-1. Florida Gulf Coast was on the board first at the 9-minute, 10-second mark with Wyatt Engelman. And then Nebraska answered at the 14:47 mark with Chris Brown. And that's where we are at 1-1 with under 2 minutes to go in this first period. And the puck is out in front as Florida Gulf Coast in the blue helmets trying to corral it. Now a big hit in Nebraska zone and now into the bench. Huge hit there from Craig Fitzgerald.
Wow.
And now a chance for Florida Gulf Coast. Weaving, moving, sent it across, but the shot fires wide right of the net. And now it's across the neutral zone. Flipped in.
We talked about feeling that the hits were going to start to come, and I mean, look at that one. Threw him into the opposing team's bench. Wow.
That's one of the hardest hits I've seen in this tournament. And now Rob has it. He's pushed up along the near side boards. And Nebraska just tries to punch it back towards the goal, but they have nobody there. There's under a minute to go in the first period. Across the neutral zone now. Now we had no more bench play over the blue line. Here come the Eagles. It's Steinmetz. Throws it around. Nebraska pickpockets it. There's 40 seconds to go. They send it across to Johnson. Johnson weaving from left to right. He tries a backhanded shot at the net. Unsuccessful. Birch with the save. And now it's up by the left circle where it's into the pads. A nice deflection block there. Florida Gulf Coast controls over the red line. It's flicked up ahead. 22 seconds to go in the first. We got a 1-1 game. Hank. Stretch pass. Throws it all the way across to the red line. Looking for Johnson. He's hit. Puck is jarred loose. And now we're over the red line here. Nebraska in the black jerseys. They're pressuring here, weaving in and out of traffic. Florida Gulf Coast able to steal the puck as time expires. Whew. So what a first period. I'm almost out of breath, but I'm having so much fun.
Yeah, great first period. The offense was just there from both sides. Shots ended up being 17-12 in favor of Nebraska. And, you know, the great thing is when you see a lot of offense, you hope there's not a blowout. And that's definitely not what we have here, as it's a 1-1 hockey game after one.
And the hits, the goals first, the hits came later. But we're knotted up after one. The second period should be good. Justin Novellis, Jared Nyland here with you on the call on the ACHA network. We're going to take a quick break, and we're back with second period action when we come back.
It started with land and a grand plan to build a university, protect biodiversity, shape engineers and pioneers, explore frontiers and spark careers, and serve local regions through the work of collegians to chase dreams, cheer teams, teach, share, improve, and prepare to bring minds awake and give back more than we take. To build a school of wonders where communities connect, inspiring those who inspire others. That's the FGCU effect.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second period here in Plano, Texas. Justin DeVellis alongside Jared Nyland. We're here in Plano. Jared, a 1-1 ball game. Nebraska fought back to tie. I mean, just an amazing first period. What do you think was the message in both locker rooms after that one?
It's either just keep up the offensive pressure or they just made adjustments defensively. I think the message was good, though, either way. You're either team, you're happy. It's a 1-1 hockey game after one. The offenses are buzzing. The goalies are playing well on both ends. So not really much to critique.
Florida Gulf Coast starting the period off right. They have it in a Nebraska zone, the far boards, but as soon as I say it, it's stolen away. Nebraska comes back to the neutral zone, and we're by the near side boards here. Sent up along, and now behind the net. Florida Gulf Coast just trying to bat it out of there. Hit it as hard as they can. Now it's back up to the left point. Glove down by Raymond. He swings it around. We're at the far side. Shot. Save. And now the puck is out in front, getting dragged down. Florida Gulf Coast is coming back the other way, just trying to bat at it was Tassler. Tassler really had a good defensive effort right there to try to knock the puck loose.
Something to look for, though, with the long change. You know, it's been such an offensive game, and usually long changes sometimes lead to offensive opportunities, but we've already had so much of it, I wonder if it'll just even add to the offensive intensity in this game.
Yeah, Engelman had the puck for a second there. He's the goal scorer for Florida Gulf Coast. Now Chris Brown on the other end scoring the goal for Nebraska as the puck is moved in. It's out close to the net. Now it's behind the cage. As the Eagles get it up top, it's Hartman who throws it in, a save by Stanchfield. But the one thing I wanted to add was Chris Brown at the 14:47 mark in the first period. He knots things up at one. He had one goal all season for the Cornhuskers, and he scores here in Nationals.
I saw it in a game I was calling earlier with Ryan. The guy had one goal going into the national tournament and netted his second of the season and only his third point. He had one assist, but that's the beautiful thing about the national tournament is sometimes, you know, your power lines are going to score in 3 games of pool play eventually, right? It's getting contribution from those third, fourth liners that can really help you raise basically the trophy at the end of this.
And we're going to have an icing here, a face-off set for the far circle, the right circle in Nebraska zone. As, like we said, Division III of the ACHA Men's National Tournament. This is pool play day 2, and one of your last games taking place here. And here's Florida Gulf Coast winning the draw, just trying to poke at it. It's sent out in front across the net. And wrapped up along the boards, a big hit there as Florida Gulf Coast trying to control it. They send it in front of the net, sliding for a chance was Matruska. He might have had a good shot at the net.
Yeah, he was just a little off there on that pass. Otherwise, if it was a clean connection, it would have been a great scoring opportunity.
Papilla to Horvath, but the Eagles can't control it, but it finds its way back to Horvath, who just sends it behind the net. Now skating in, Veralt, Jacob Veralt really coming hard on the charge right there. And we'll have another icing. 17:30, so 2.5 minutes gone here in the second period. Has it been reminiscent of the first period?
It's been a little calmer, I would say. Florida Gulf Coast had a chance right in that slot area, like we mentioned, but the pass was just a tad off. I mean, there's only been one shot 2.5 minutes into this period already. I think we had 3 or 4 in the last period. So I think the teams may be looking for more quality over quantity this period.
Remember, the loser is pretty much eliminated. So both teams started 0-1. This is really a must-win for these programs as the puck is sent back behind Florida Gulf Coast net. Nebraska is going to get a change here as the Eagles take it through the neutral zone.
The crazy thing is, even if Nebraska wins, then both teams get eliminated and Michigan wins the pool.
And now back the other way, just kind of flipped ahead, backhanded by Hank, who like we said, leading goal scorer for Nebraska all season. We haven't called his name much today. Maybe he's a guy that can sneak into the zone and put one away for the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, to win a national championship, you need your big guns to produce. I mean, it's as simple as that. If your big guys, your big guns don't produce in the national tournament, you're just not going to get enough goals, period.
Big drive there by Miller. And the puck is up along the boards now, trying to spin and flip was David Cross, and now a big hit. Christoph Malcolm lays the lumber by Nebraska's bench. We've seen some hits up along both benches so far in this game. As Nebraska just trying to send it through. And Florida Gulf Coast retains it. 16:27 to go in the second period. 1-1. Justin Avel's Jared Nyland here on the call on the ACHA network. The puck is sent through. Eagles trying to weave through. They got a 2-on-2 here. Leading the charge. A shot fired. Puck is out in front of the net. No scoring, but a great chance there as we get a whistle here.
It's a hooking call against Nebraska. Just got up in his hands there when I believe it was number 7, David Cross, attempting like the third rebound attempt. So it'll be number 52, Jordan Hank, going to the box. But Justin, I want to propose a bit of a situation for you. Florida Gulf goes on to win this game, let's say, and then Florida Gulf beats Michigan tomorrow, and Fordham wins tomorrow against Nebraska. It'd create a 3-way tie at 2-1, and the tiebreaker wouldn't be head-to-head because they would have all beaten each other.
Yeah, and the tiebreaker would move to differential.
I believe that is
correct?
The second tiebreaker. I do believe that.
Yeah,
yes.
We've spoken about how important it is. Every single goal, even if the game's out of hand, it's still important to score because that's one of the tiebreakers as the Eagles send it across. Now in the high slot, shot save. But a good chance there by the Eagles. Now it's up by the left point, near side boards. Whips it around. And Florida Gulf Coast in good position right now behind the net over by the goal line. They send it out to the right point over by the right circle. Across the ACHA logo. Winds, fakes, winds, and then one-timer into the net. Score!
That was a clean goal by Jacob Verlette. Wow, was that a ripper. I don't think it touched a single thing on the way to that net.
And Veralt with the power. Continuing. That shot was reminiscent of the energy we've seen through this entire game. So now Florida Gulf Coast, who led 1-0 in this one, now regains the lead. 2-1, 15:27 left in the second period.
I was just going to talk about how Stenchfield has made some really, really good saves so far, but that one just got by him. It was hard to tell if he was screened or not, but it was just such a pure shot from the point that, it was a beautiful shot in all honesty.
So 4 minutes, 33 seconds into the period, it's Veralt who gives the Eagles a 2-1 lead here in a must-win game. Nebraska now trying to get it out of their zone. Florida Gulf Coast has held it there most of the period. A good shot sent out in front.
Yeah, it looked like number 3, Kyle Horvath, got a piece of it in front, almost got enough of it to deflect it in.
And Nebraska now just trying to get it out of there. Florida Gulf Coast has held it. Now there's a race for the puck. Bonte is giving chase. And he's met by 2 Florida Gulf Coast defenders. Eagles wrap it around. The puck is loose, though. Now weaving behind the net. It's Rob. Rob trying to keep it. He's trying to get it with his skate. He sends it behind the net to Walters. Walters hit up along the boards. He sends it out to the right point. Puck still being controlled by Nebraska, but they're facing some serious pressure from Florida Gulf Coast. The Eagles swiping it away, and they lead the charge here over the blue line, now over the red line. Weaving into the attacking zone. A 2-on-2. Now they lose the puck, but the puck, both teams lost it. Florida Gulf Coast lost it, and then Nebraska lost it. And now a shot deflected. That was Chris Brown, the man who scored the goal, got in the way there. Now here maybe a charge, but it's stopped. And Chris Brown again, that's another time he gets his stick in the way of the puck to make a nice defensive play.
One of the coaches is very upset with Blake Hartman on the Florida Gulf Coast bench, really getting in his ear about that decision he made when it was a 2-on-2 opportunity the other way. I think he really wanted him to look for a pass or shoot it earlier. So Hartman getting an earful over there, excuse me.
Earful, Stanchfield. He's been so good in goal as Max Mahallam skates on for Florida Gulf Coast, but we have a stoppage with 13:26 to go left in the second period. 2-1 Florida Gulf Coast. The shot's 19-18 in favor of the team who's not ahead.
Yeah, and, we've seen it a few times. Earlier today, the Michigan-Fordham game on this sheet of ice, at one point the shots were like 50-18, and Michigan was losing, and they were out shooting the opponent by 32 shots, and we're still down 1-0.
So Hank wins the draw. Now the puck finds his stick again. Now a wraparound chance out in front. It's there on the doorstep. But Florida Gulf Coast has it over the blue line into the neutral zone. They flick it ahead into Nebraska's zone, where it's behind the net, now by the left circle, and a big hit up along the boards. As Florida Gulf Coast has it, now they send it. It hits the net, bounces back. And stolen here up by the ACHA logo, a shot deflection. And they keep it in. So maybe another chance here for the Eagles. Diaz really wound and fired that. It was almost like Veralt's goal.
I feel like I think Nebraska's out shooting Florida Gulf Coast in this period, but it just has that feeling where Florida Gulf Coast is just dominating this period right now.
That shot there by Papilla, wide of the net. And the Eagles now have it. Shot high and up into the mesh, but wow, that was a good chance there from point blank.
Yeah, actually, excuse me, Florida Gulf Coast is actually out shooting Nebraska 6-3, as I had to kind of redo my math there a little bit. But yeah, so Florida Gulf Coast really has come out strong in this period. They've been dominating. Puck possession just has been fantastic, especially in the offensive zone. Nebraska's got to find some answers.
Yeah, and a lot of this period has been in the Nebraska zone. Florida Gulf Coast doing a great job controlling the puck, but Nebraska has it here. They send it across and into the Florida Gulf Coast end. The Eagles trying to protect their nest right now. Nebraska, it's up along the far side boards. Cornhuskers just trying to keep it here and get a chance, but here comes Florida Gulf Coast, the 3-on-2. It's Tremblay leading the charge. He feeds it in. Glove down. Shot. Save. Black had a nice whack at it. He found the net. But in front was Stanchfield, just so good. Now weaving in is Cohen. Cohen couldn't get by a defender, but they keep it in at the blue line. And now a last chance, last-ditch shot there.
Really nice defensive play there by Tanner Tessler of Nebraska. He was the one who poked that puck away, and now it's led to a clearing of the puck.
Flipped up ahead. Hartman got a stick on it. Now it's Horvath who controls it, but now it's into the hands of Tanner Tassler. Now Florida Gulf Coast trying to feed it out in front. They do. They get it a chance, but a save by Stanchfield. And that was a great feed. That's exactly how you teach it.
Yeah, that was absolutely beautiful. It looked like it was Kyle Horvath that was in front. They got a piece of it. I mean, you can't really ask for a much better pass, and you really can't ask for a much better deflection. Just the goaltender, Stanchfield, was all over it.
Dangerous. The shots, 21-20 now. Florida Gulf Coast has the edge. 11 minutes to go in the second period. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland here on the call, and now here's a shot save as the puck is up in the air. Somebody's just looking for it. They're trying to control it. It's behind the cage now as Nebraska moves it up ahead past the neutral zone. It bangs off the boards and across both circles, and we'll get an icing here with 10:42 to go in the second period.
You know, Horvath almost had another one right after the deflection. He was right at the left side circle. Almost got it over the right side shoulder of Bennett Stanchfield, the goaltender, and he almost made it a 3-1 game.
Yeah, so 3 goals total in this one. 2 for Florida Gulf Coast. They lead 2-1. And now the face-off taking place in the Nebraska end again as the Cornhuskers are trying to flick the puck out as they control it here. But at the blue line, keeps it in. It's Bell. And now banged up along the boards. Big hit from the Nebraska defense as they send it across the blue line in the neutral zone right now, but it's stolen and we get a whistle.
Ooh, that was close. Yeah, I'm pretty close to being on that blue line, but not quite. I'm going to go with the official as he was right there. But, man, that was close. The Florida Gulf Coast fans a little upset with that call, but it was so hard to tell. I mean, the officials have been great, though, I think, during this D3 tournament and really in all divisions. So hats off to them, and they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, so the face-off now will take place in the neutral zone. 10:20 to go in the second period in a 2-1 game on the ACHA network. Into the neutral zone now. Puck is up in the air, glove down by Gadd. And Hank is chasing after it. He weaves behind the net, looking for someone crossing through. He didn't find anybody, and now just has to flick it behind him, where he's got Heisek. Heisek gets it up top, kept in by Brown. Brown sends it across. Now to the right circle, shot and a save. As Hank got a nice try on it. Maybe not the best angle, though. And we're going to send it to our first media timeout. 9:50 to go in the second period on the ACHA network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Barron Championship Rings, proud sponsor and championship ring provider for the ACHA. Warrior Sports, the preferred stick supplier of the ACHA. The Dallas Stars. For tickets and more information, visit dallasstars.com. And Southwest Airlines, the official event airline partner of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. 9:50 to go in the second period in a 2-1 game. The face-off upcoming. We just came back from our media break. And, Jared, we're going to have a face-off here at Florida Gulf Coast end, something that hasn't really happened much this period.
Yeah, no, it's been all Florida Gulf Coast, and they've actually passed Nebraska in shots, and they were trailing by 5 going in this one. So shots this period are 11-4 in favor of the Eagles.
Steinmetz gets sent out of the face-off, and it's won by Florida Gulf Coast, who sends it across through the legs. Now a chance for a cross. Who can't make it happen. He weaved it through. And great stick work, but couldn't finish. Now it's through the neutral zone. A Hank tosses it in. Where Johnson will grab it. He throws it at the net kind of softly. And it's blocked by Birch. Nebraska trying to hold on to it here in this end. 9:19 to go in the second period. Trying to tie it up. They're down 2-1 and a shot across. Sails wide, and now it leads to a Florida Gulf Coast chance. Here's Black weaving through. He's got a man on the right circle. Shot save by Stanchfield. Pretty good chance there, Jared. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, you're good. The passing just from Florida Gulf Coast is really impressive to me. I mean, I think it was number 26, Black, who dodged a hit and then just threw a perfect pass over to that right side circle that led to that opportunity.
And now sent in front. Scary chance. Florida Gulf Coast peppering the net. Now they try a centering pass, but nobody home. And Nebraska's trying to run it 2-on-2. They throw it to the near side boards where it's gloved down by Miller. Still in the Florida Gulf Coast zone. It's weaved through. Yeah, we got a penalty upcoming, Jared.
It's going to be a holding call here. Looks like it's going to be on Nebraska, and that's not the penalty you want to take right now if you're Nebraska, because Florida Gulf Coast has already been all over you this period, and now they're going to have a chance on the power play.
No, they just took one of the last penalties, too, so Bontius will go to the box for holding. 2-minute minor.
As I've kind of gone back to the shots a couple times this period, but it was 17-12 in favor of Nebraska. It's now 26-22 in favor of Florida Gulf Coast. I think that really tells you how dominant the Eagles have been this period.
And now number 26, Connor Blake will take the draw. He wins, and a shot top of the net and in.
Oh, that was filthy.
Right off the
That
draw.
was filthy. Seth Cohen, that was just a filthy goal. I mean, that's the best word to use. Holy smokes. I mean, he just took it near that ACHA logo, skated to the top of the left circle, and just roofed it. Wow.
11 minutes, 30 seconds exactly were gone in the period. And Cohen finds the net to extend the lead to 2. It's now 3-1 Florida Gulf Coast leads. And they don't want to go home. They want to play as far as they can the rest of this tournament. Now on the deck is Matruska. He gets up and finds the puck. Where Nebraska is trying to get it through the neutral zone now. Little one-on-one. You got McDonald weaving through, sends it across, but a big hit. 8:04 to go in the second period. 3-1 your score. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland here with you on the call on the ACHA Network. And now a shot out in front. The puck was left there. A wraparound try. But no doing. Florida Gulf Coast picks it back up. Here come the Eagles. 3-on-2. Right side. Moving to left. Pass out in front. Shot, but went wide left. And another try. But what a pass there. How did they miss that? And now a shot fed out in front. Tried to get a rebound. Tried to clean up the garbage, but whiffed on it.
I don't know how Matruska didn't score that first chance down there. He had a wide open net. He didn't get a good enough angle on it.
And now Hartman weaves to the left circle. Shot saved by the left leg of Stanchfield. Puck is still by the left circle now. Weaving around is Veralt. Veralt throws it to the back. Thrown out in front. It's a loose puck. And now it's behind the net. Veralt has it, weaving, but he's defended by Brown, who steals it. But it's kept in here by the Eagles. Shot out by the left circle. Veralt moves it. Now it's back up to the left point shot, but kind of a weak shot. Stanchfield didn't have any trouble, but the puck is kind of loose. Behind now.
Yeah, the reason Stanchfield didn't have any issues is I think the defenseman, number 25, Alfonso Diaz, was looking for a tip in front, just hopped over the winger stick, and we're going to have another penalty, I think, coming up to Nebraska.
Yeah, so they've had the last 3 penalties now. The Cornhuskers have kind of shot themselves in the foot. 6:41 to go in the second period.
It'll be number 13, Corbin Smeal, heading to the box. I'm pretty sure the call was a holding, and now we'll have a face-off in the offensive zone for the Eagles.
So 2 holding penalties in a row for Nebraska. They trail by 2. 6:41 to go in the second period. Another draw face-off coming on the Nebraska end. Florida Gulf Coast wins the draw. And it's towards the far side boards now, trying to throw it in. Veralt has it up at the point. It's thrown across. Cohen has it. He's trying to just look. They're being patient now. Out to Veralt. Now back out to the left point. Getting closer. Fake the shot. Now he just tries to punch it in. And the puck is back out to the far side. Veralt now coming into the lane. Sliding is Hank, who gets a stick on it. Great defensive effort. And there's 1:27 to go in the power play.
Jacob Veralt, who has one of the goals for Florida Gulf Coast, just couldn't quite get some clean passes in there. Otherwise, it could have set up some good opportunities for the Eagles.
Tremblay throws it, wallops it behind the net, where the Eagles still keep it in. From the right point to the left point, a drive, but off the skate. Florida Gulf Coast still has it. Left point now. Thrown to the near side. Now thrown all the way across. Right point, shot up to the top. Drive, rebound, saved by Stanchfield.
He got it with his stick and only his stick. What a save.
A save and now a scrum. Near side boards over there in the corner. 5:22 to go in this one. Now a chance. Drive, sails high. Lundqvist got his first go at the net. And now another drive. Florida Gulf Coast is really just hammering this puck.
They have to have at least the last 14 shots in this game. It's up to 33-22 in favor of the Eagles. Once the Huskers were leading that statistic 17-12.
Yeah, truly remarkable what this Eagles offense has done this entire second period. They lead 3-1. They have 2 goals in this period. 5:14 to go. in the second. 30 seconds to go in the power play. Up top to the right side. Fed out in front. Loose puck. Almost a deflection. And now it's behind for Florida Gulf Coast. It's getting testy now. Sent across.
Should have moved that one back to the point.
And Florida Gulf Coast weaving it around now. It's Hartman. Spin move. Out to the point. Reset. It's by the left point now to Bell. Bell looking in the left circle. And it's into the neutral zone. The power play has ended. There's 4:37 to go in the second. And we're at an even 5-on-5.
Eagles kind of forgot about their point men there, and I think that's why one of the reasons they didn't score. I think they didn't utilize their defensemen well there.
So now on the back end, it goes off a skate of Nick Nappy. Nappy's checked up into the boards. It's over by the red line. A big hit there by Papilla, who sent Bontius flying. Bontius served that holding penalty. Not the last one, but the one right before. 4:04 to go in the second period. 3-1 your score. Nebraska just hasn't kept it on their offensive end at all. As it's in the neutral zone now. Lutz across to Brown. Brown trying to get it through. He finds Walters. Walters skating in a shot off the pads and just right out in front of Birch. It hit the pads and then just literally fell right out. It was so hard that puck skated out. Now another chance. Here's Nebraska. Pass. Falls on the shot attempt. Did Bontius, but it was a nice find. 3:25 to go in the second period. Florida Gulf Coast gets a change. There's Bontius again. Brown, almost a hit. Whiffed on it, did Walters. And now we got a chance here for Florida Gulf Coast. Fakes, weaving in. Puck is out. It was a glove save, but it fell out of the glove of Stanchfield. And now another chance, as Nebraska just kicks it out now. But Florida Gulf has it up at the point. Shot, deflected off a stick. And now inside, nobody knows where it is. Stanfield getting moved off his post. And it's out on the far side boards. 2:44 to go in the second period. The score is 3-1. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland here on the ACHA Network. This is win or go home. And Florida Gulf Coast.
Watch out.
Huge hit. Florida Gulf Coast is up 2. And we're right by the action, so we don't miss anything here on the ACHA Network. We're going to have a whistle.
Yeah, that was definitely touched. That should get put it back at center ice, I think, but I think they're going to go all the way down with it. It definitely should not have been an icing. Shots 36-23 in favor of the Eagles. The Cornhuskers finally got one of their few shots in this period. They went a good 5-minute stretch without one. They got that one just a few moments ago at about the 3-4 minute mark of this period.
Engelman, Veralt, Cohen, your goal scorers for Florida Gulf Coast. Chris Brown, your scorer for Nebraska. Veralt and Cohen found the net in this period. That's the difference. It's 3-1, 2:16 to go in the second. Now it's behind the net. Nebraska picks it up. They're trying to feed it through on the ground. A centering chance here up at the top. And a sliding Shea Matruska. And you were going to say something, Jared.
He is very upset at the official. Watch out here. We could get some extra penalties, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. One Florida Gulf Coast player at least will be heading into the box. It's going to be a roughing call there against number 3, Kyle Horvath. Eagles are fortunate they didn't get another one, as the man who had the breakaway opportunity gave the official some language. I'll say that.
So Horvath is going to go to the box. A big 2 minutes now. So for the rest of the period, Nebraska is going to be on this power play. This is huge.
Yeah, this is massive. If they can get one here on the power play, make it a 1-goal game going into the intermission, you never know how that would how much momentum that can give a team.
And we haven't seen Nebraska go on the power play in a while. They did back in the first, but it's been very long. The 1:53 to go on that game clock in the second. Nebraska really needs a goal now. It's win or go home. It's kept up at the blue line, sent out in front. Nobody there. Florida Gulf Coast with a chance. It's going to be Dave Cross.
Wow, what a play there by the goaltender. It was a risky play, but it paid off really nicely.
Stanchfield left his post. And now it's on the far side boards. They're battling for it. Johnson comes away with it. Here comes Nebraska. It's Heisek. Heisek feeds it in. Cowley with a shot. It's out in front of the net on the doorstep. Puck is in the air. And it was in the back. Now it's out at the point by the left circle. Left wing shot and up into the mesh. I mean, 23 saves now. 23 saves.
Yeah, the Cornhuskers only 7 shots this period, and that's kind of why this game is 3-1 right now. The Eagles, it's just been all Eagles this period. I mean, bottom line is the Cornhuskers are doing a pretty well job, I think, just to keep this game 3-1 because the Eagles have just had so many chances this period.
So it's 3-1. There's a minute left in the period. There's a minute left in the power play. So Nebraska, they need this 60 seconds as they get it out to the point. It's Walters who tries to feed it through, but it's stolen by Hartman. Hartman, it's feeding through the neutral zone. Here comes Steinmetz. 2-on-2. Thought they had a chance, then they decided to just get it back out, reset. It's over by the blue line now where Nebraska is going to take it. 40 seconds to go in the period. 3-1. Nebraska has this one-man advantage. And now it's Robb weaving through the neutral zone. Here comes Robb skating in, but stick on it. Hartman got a stick on it and send it to the near side boards. 23 seconds. It's frozen now. 3 Nebraska players are trying to get it. Now it's behind the net. Tried to get it out in front. Almost a chance. And it was a very nice block. 10 seconds now. Trying to get a drive at it. 8 seconds. 7. And there's going to be a whistle here with 3 seconds to go in the power play and 8 seconds to go in the period.
Yeah, I believe the net came off. Yep, linesman coming in to fix it. And, you know, watch the Florida Gulf Coast player coming out of the box here. I think with only 8 seconds left in the period, he's going to come out and just stay on that blue line, try to get a stretch pass. So be careful if Florida Gulf Coast wins this draw because he's going to be coming out of the box soon. And
the man in the box is Horvath. He's waiting impatiently, not waiting patiently, but he wants to get out of the box. 3 seconds. 8 seconds to go. Let's see if they can win this draw. They don't. Nebraska does. They have it up at the top. They tried to feed it through, but it goes behind. It's Hank trying to get it out in front of the net and a chance! Oh. And a great save by Jared Birch to keep the 2-goal lead intact.
What a save. Sliding right to left, and he just threw out the leg pad. He was pumped up after that save. You see him, he looked at his bench, put his blocker up in the air with a big fist pump and said, "Let's go, boys. We're up 2."
Unbelievable. So that's how the second period's going to end. 2 goals by the Eagles in that period, and that's why they're ahead. But an amazing save by Birch might be the play of the tournament for Florida Gulf Coast. We'll send it to break at the intermission. Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland here on the ACHA Network.
know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate. Skate. Pass it. You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck. Come on. This guy's not ready. You're not ready. Let's go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Children's Health Star Center. We're in Plano, Texas. Drop the pin and drop the puck. The score's 3-1 as we head into the third period. Justin Novellis, Jared Nyland here on the call on the ACHA network. I mean, Jared, it's been so fast, almost a tale of two periods. In Florida Gulf Coast, I mean, the 2 goals from Veralt and Cohen, just the difference here right now.
Yeah, and that first period was very even. You could even say the Cornhuskers of Nebraska outplayed Florida Gulf Coast. The second period, though, was the exact opposite. Florida Gulf Coast, they dominated from puck drop to that final buzzer, and even right at the end, they put the exclamation point on the period with a beautiful save from the goaltender, sliding from his right to left, and he was pumped up after that save.
Yeah, and if you're just joining us, you need to understand that Jared Birch made an amazing save in the closing seconds. Almost when the buzzer hit, he made the save to keep this a 2-goal game, because it could easily be a 1-goal game. Here's a chance for Nebraska off the draw. And they don't convert it, but it's kept in. Glove down. And now sent across for the Eagles. They might have a chance here. Mulholland tries to weave it across. Now it's back up to the point. Shot save. It was Cross who fired that one.
Yeah, some quick chances on both ends, kind of like the first period was. So we'll see if Nebraska made some adjustments after that poor second period and see if they're going to come out swinging.
Yeah, and you played a good first period if you're Nebraska. The 2 goals by Florida Gulf Coast were just killer, but you almost stole one there in the closing seconds. It would have been nice to only be down 1. And the draw is won by Florida Gulf Coast. They try to send it in front where Nebraska corrals it. And it's sent ahead. It's a race for the puck. Hartman and Cowley try to wrangle for it, and now Nebraska has it, a shot out in front, but it's way high. It kicks around. Nebraska's able to get a stick on it. They're trying to keep it in. It's on the near side boards now. It's kept in. It's Ketting who sneaks his way, but he loses the puck. And now it's sent across the neutral zone. It's Lundqvist who fires, and there's another save. The shot's 38-25 in favor of the Eagles.
Feels like at the start of this period, Nebraska just goes down. They take a shot or two. Florida Gulf Coast picks it back up, and they go down the other way, take a shot or two themselves. So it's been a very even first minute and 3 seconds of this one.
So here's the draw now in Nebraska's end. It's won by Nebraska. They're trying to get it out of there. It's over in the corner, the near side corner, as Nebraska flicks it up. It was Heisek who gets it. Now there's a race for the puck between Lee and Johnson. Johnson controls it, backhands it. Now it's in, and then tried to flip it up, did Hank. Tried to get a little vertical on that attempt, maybe sneak it by Birch, maybe get it over his shoulder and in.
Jared Birch getting a little bit of a little cocky over there. He's kind of looking at him after that shot like, you really thought you were going to score from that angle on me tonight? Like, get out of here, feller.
The draw is won. It's sent in front. Now here comes Florida Gulf Coast. It's Cohen. Weaves it in. Block. Now it's out in front of the net. But no attempt there. Nebraska, big check right by the Nebraska bench. It was Johnson who got hit. I didn't see who laid that hit, but it was Johnson who caught the brunt of it. Change here for the Eagles. Cornhuskers weaving through, across the blue line. Shot, wound up, but on the wind-up he got hit. Now the Eagles, here we come, 3-on-2 rush. Weave behind. Shot. Miss behind the net. Rebound. Back into the near side boards. And now it's behind the net by the goal line. It's Nappy. Gets it out to the left point. Shot off the pads. And now a backhanded chance. Looking for a goal. Did he get it? No, the referee's waving it off, but Stanfield was pulled off his post. That was dangerous there for Nebraska.
Well, I'm pretty sure it went in the net, but got waved off for that back official. Hard to exactly see from the angle we're on whether it was just batted in or a hand pass or something. But either way, no goal, and it'll remain 3-1 Florida Gulf Coast.
So Florida Gulf Coast continues that assault on the net. It's the reason why they have 3. 2 in the second, 1 in the first. And one monster save for Birch at the end of the second period. 17:24 to go. This is a winner-go, well, not winner-go-home game, but a win, or your tournament is cut very short. And now Nebraska has it by their blue line. They try to send it in. Every team gets to play at least 3.
Yeah, and that's what I think is cool with the D2 and D3 divisions is you do get to play 3 games. D1, you might play 1 game, and if you lose, you're going home. That puts a lot more pressure on every game because every game in that tournament is win or go home. Until the national championship, where one team wins the trophy and the other team does not. So both teams end up going home, but one team leaves happy and the other does not.
And now the draw is won by Florida Gulf Coast. It's behind the cage now, wrestling for it. Florida Gulf Coast has a chance. Little wraparound, just tried to sneak it by. But Stanchfield didn't allow it to go in. 16:50 now. They're battling up against the boards. Tried to center it. Wound up by Cross. And the puck sails over the net. But now it's back to Hartman. Shot. The deflection almost dangerous. And now it's back up at the blue line. Kept in by Bell. And now we have a shot here behind the net. Positioning himself in front is Cross. The puck is in front. And a save by Stanchfield. But we got a player down right in front of the crease with 16:29 to go.
Yeah, it looks like it's number 7 of Florida Gulf Coast, David Cross. It appears that he's gotten to one knee and now has stood fully up. So it's good to see him get up, and he looks like he should be fine as Florida Gulf Coast fans give him a little bit of applause as he skates to the bench.
So 16:29 to go in this game. 3-1 the score. Shots 42-26. Nebraska's taken a couple penalties in this one, and they haven't been able to cut that lead. They're trying to pick away at it. And a big hit as we cross the blue line here. Nebraska's got it in Florida Gulf Coast end, but the Eagles take the puck back, and they're going to send it out and start the rush. Nice pass there. Lundqvist controls it. He's on the near side boards. 2 Nebraska defenders are giving him trouble. His stick. He dropped his stick. Looks like we got a whistle here, Jared.
Yeah, the official was signaling high stick. Looks like we're going to have a high sticking penalty here against Nebraska, it appears, as looks like it's number 15, I want to say. Yep, there's the 1 in front of the 5. So it'll be number 15 heading into the box. That's Ben Raymond. So he'll serve a 2-minute minor for a high stick.
So 3 minutes, 56 seconds into the third period. We have our first penalty of the period. A high stick from Ben Raymond. He'll serve the 2 minutes in that box. Definitely not the time you wanted to take a penalty there if you're Nebraska trailing by 2.
An update on the other side of the sheet. Grand Valley is now taking a 2-1 lead, over Farmingdale State. Both those teams are 1-0, so both trying to advance out of their pool.
Diaz works it ahead. It's over by the blue line now. Horvath trying to send it in. He's the leading goal scorer for this Florida Gulf Coast team. And now a big hit up along the boards by Johnson for the Cornhuskers. 1:36 to go in the power play. 15:38 to go in the game. Justin Novellis, Jared Nyland on the call on the ACHA network. As the Eagles move it through center ice, sent around where it's picked up by Matruska. Matruska tried to keep it in, did Diaz, and it's sent back through the neutral zone. The Eagles have to reset to get a change. Skating now, weaving into the neutral zone. Nebraska. Nebraska just really facing an assault, a great offense in this Florida Gulf Coast team who only lost 1 game all year. They lost in the opening day of pool play as they get it across the blue line. Over by the left circle, weaved around behind the net, now back out in front to the right point. It's Verral who swings it across, just being patient now. Up at the point, he fakes, passes to his left. Tried to find Cullen, who lost the puck a little bit, but it's still kept in. And now Verral up at the point. He winds, fires, and it's off the pads of Stanchfield. Florida Gulf Coast gets the rebound. They kick it out to the right circle.
Looking for somebody. Penalty coming up here to Florida Gulf Coast.
Oh, another penalty. And this is just not what the doctor ordered if you're Nebraska. Here, over out in front, centering pass inside. Chance here for Florida Gulf Coast. Now Wines fires. nothing doing. There was traffic in front of the net. Here we go. It's Ferrault again. He's held the puck a lot. 14 minutes to go in the third period. Huge advantage now for Florida Gulf Coast.
We're going to have another penalty coming up here.
And
there's going to be 2, I think, against Nebraska. You know, I was going to say they kind of made the mental mistake of not letting Nebraska play that so they could have gotten a 5-on-3. But if there ended up being 2 penalties, it's going to work out actually in their favor a little bit.
Yeah, so the stoppage in play, we got to, that would be huge, a 5-on-3.
Well, no, it actually looks like only one guy went to the box. I thought the other official put his arm up and signaled a second penalty. But nope, it's a double minor. So he's going to get 4 up on the board. So it'll be 5-on-4 for 4 minutes. Now, let's say Florida Gulf Coast, for those tuning in who don't know how the double minor work, if they score with 2:56, let's say, left on that penalty clock, it'll go to 2. So it's basically 2 minors back-to-back is what it is. So that would get reset. So even if they score 2 seconds into it, let's say, then it'll just put up 2 minutes up on the board.
So the double minor coming with 14:01 to go in the third. Florida Gulf Coast already with a 2-goal lead. Now they have a man advantage here on the power play. That's back up to the right point, up at top, swung around, over by the left circle, fed inside, puck's out in front, but it's sent away. And every time you're almost like prepping for that goal because you know Florida Gulf Coast, they're knocking on the door every time they're on Nebraska's end. Sent across the blue line now, it's Horvath. Nebraska just trying to kill it. Anytime they touch that puck, they just want to send it out, kill it. 13:28 to go in the third period. And they'll have to reset. Eagles will have to reset over by the red line. It's Diaz, and they're going to get a little bit of a change here. They're a little slow, a little sluggish. They're trying to reset as it's back on the Florida Gulf Coast end. They're moving it into the neutral zone now. Off the skate of Diaz. Out to the left point. A little bit of a hit there by Raymond, trying to keep the Eagles out. 12:56 on the clock, 2:55 in the penalty. A shot save where it's back inside. Now it's kicked out to the point on the far side. Over by the blue line now. Wines fires the one time. Sales left of the cage. Tries to keep it in. It doesn't matter. Here comes Nebraska back the other way. It's Tassler. Tassler looking, no pass, just decides to fire. And it goes off the pads of Birch. And now the Eagles back the other way. It's Tremblay. Tremblay over by the right circle. He fires, glove save by Stanchfield.
Nebraska's been really good on this penalty kill, forcing Florida Gulf Coast, to regroup in their own zone a couple times, as well as getting clears out after giving up a shot or two in a single possession. So good job and credit to the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
So Nebraska's in the midst of serving that double minor. 2:20 left in that. 12:20 on the game clock in a 3-1 game. Eagles now working it around the perimeter. Left side over by the circle. Sent out in front. And Nebraska will kill it.
Well, they kill the first minor.
Right.
So they're still going to remain 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes as that second of the double minor comes in.
Now weaving through, just tried to throw it behind them, Matruska, but nobody was there. He thought someone was. He thought he had someone. Now Lundqvist in the slot and scores! What a goal!
Yeah, as I say, what a shot there. Just ripped it past the goaltender, and Lundqvist buries it. Mason Lundqvist, that is his second point and second goal of the tournament. He scored one yesterday. So he's been a big offensive production here for Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, so now 4 different goal scorers for the Eagles as Lundqvist joins the party. 11:43 to go in the third period. That goal coming 8 minutes, 17 seconds into the third. It's now 4-1, Jared.
Yeah, shots are now 47-27 in favor of Florida Gulf Coast. Since after the first intermission, So start of the second period, about 8.5 into this one, Nebraska's only been able to get 10 shots on net.
Glove down by Cross, and Robb goes flying on his back through the zone, and now a shot save by Birch, who's really been outstanding between the pipes tonight for the Eagles.
Yeah, he really has. Birch allowing 1 goal on 28 shots, so that's 27 saves, and you really can't ask for much better than that. I think that's just under 90% or 930 save percentage.
And remember, he didn't start the first game. So, he didn't get loose in that contest. It was the other goalie, Michael Kirch. As the puck is sent in, 11 minutes to go in this game, 4-1. Florida Gulf Coast now. And here's Nebraska. Nice poke.
Oh, big hit.
And a big hit up along the boards. It was a nice poke. I want to say it was Diaz. And from start to finish, he's been a guy that we've called his name today.
And excuse me, I said Birch has just under a 930 save percentage. I sold him short. 964 on the night.
No, how about that? And the Eagles, another chance here, trying to make this lead as large as they can. 10:23 to go in the period. Shots are 47-28 in favor of Florida Gulf Coast. They've really peppered the net. Here's another try, a shot and a save by Stanchfield. Almost made it 5-1. A beautiful try and chance.
Yeah, and I mean, Florida Gulf Coast was up 2 going into this period. They've done exactly what they've needed to do. They even increased their lead by 1. So if you're Florida Gulf Coast, just keep doing what you've been doing these second and third periods, and you should eventually be able to close this one out.
So the 4 goals today, the 5 goals against Michigan. Stanchfield has allowed 9 goals in the tournament. Allowed 53 all season. He was 10-5 in the regular season. And a 3 goals a game average for him. But facing some really great offensive teams the first 2 days in the tournament. And Florida Gulf Coast coming back the other way. 9:50 to go. Another chance out in front. But now it's forward. Black battles up along the boards. And it's sent out by that ACHA logo now across the neutral zone. Here comes Nebraska. Big hit. Johnson trying to chase after it. Just sends it out in front. Hoping, flailing for something, but nothing. And here come the Eagles again. They have a chance from the left wing shot. Kind of just whiffed on that attempt.
Yeah, I did. And we're going to head to a media timeout, so we'll be back right after the media timeout.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Budget Car Rental, the preferred rental agency of the ACHA. Hogan Transportation, official tournament partners of the 2019 ACHA National Championships. Edge Protect, protecting goalie skate blades since 2004 and official sponsor of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
Welcome back to Plano. 9:25 to go in this contest. 4-1 the score. It was a huge goal in this period by Mason Lundquist.
Yeah, that one was scored right out top of the slot. And, extending this lead to 3, you could almost think it could be the nail in the coffin.
And here comes Nebraska the other way. That lone goal in the first by Chris Brown was good. It knotted things up. But just not enough offense here from the Cornhuskers to make any noise. Big hit up along the far side corner. And we're going to get a penalty, like you said, Jared. Another another penalty. But this time it's going to go against Florida Gulf Coast. Now another big hit. Horvath tried to lay the wood there. Maybe a little bit of frustration there. And now Florida Gulf Coast really looking to hit some guys up along the boards as finally the penalty call will come into effect. 8:26 to go in the third period.
It appears it's number 3, Kyle Horvath, going to the box as he's gotten a goal and assist in this tournament for 2 points already. So he's been a solid production player for the Eagles, and he'll have to do a 2-minute minor. Florida Gulf Coast up to 51 shots in this game. They only had 12 after the first.
Truly remarkable, this offense, and that's why they've only lost 1 game this year. And you know that after that loss yesterday, they definitely were feeling a little bit of frustration.
They definitely felt like they shouldn't have lost that game to the 4-seed Fordham. But give credit to Fordham. They played an amazing game. They played with Michigan all day today, too. I believe that game, they got outshot, I want to say, 65-19. And it was 1-1 until about 2.5 left in the third when Michigan scored the game-winning goal.
It's up at the point now, sent behind the net, 4-1 the score. But the boys are still battling out there as if it were tied. And a great job there, 1:23 to go in the power play. The Eagles just doing their best to try to send it away. They're getting a little bit from this crowd that's traveled to watch them play. As Johnson, big hit there. Mulholland knocks down Raymond. And it's on the near side corner now, back up to the point. Behind Johnson, looking inside. Nebraska's trying to feed it into the slot. They're looking for somebody. Almost got a deflection chance there. Isaac came skating in, and now the puck is going to go back to Nebraska's end.
Yeah.
47 seconds to go in the power play.
Isaac had a chance right there on the doorstep, just couldn't get a piece of it. Otherwise, it could have been a 2-goal game.
Justin DeVellis, Jared Nyland on the call. ACHA Network is the station. Under 7 minutes to go now. 30 seconds on the power play. Horvath will skate out at about 6:30. And a shorthanded chance here for Florida Gulf Coast as the net kind of comes loose. And a chance here. Hartman inside trying to find somebody. It was a loose puck right on the doorstep. But they got to fix the net here, and we get another stoppage. 18 seconds to go on the power play.
Tripping call against Nebraska as well. That's kind of what ended up causing that net to dislodge. So we're going to go to a 4-on-4 here for 18 seconds, and then it'll be another Eagles power play.
So not what you wanted if you're Nebraska, but this entire game has kind of gone that way. You've battled hard, but Florida Gulf Coast has controlled the pace, put their foot on the gas pedal, and have taken advantage of opportunities when the door has been open. And Alex Robb heads to the box for Nebraska. Like you said, 4-on-4. And then Nebraska, down 3, is going to be tasked with having to kill another penalty to not go down 4. So we started this game before any seconds ticked off the clock with 4-on-4. Now we're skating 4-on-4, and there's just 4 seconds left. Horvath is going to open up the doors and skate out onto the ice as it's sent through the neutral zone. Into Florida Gulf Coast end. Nebraska has it, but it's stolen away by the Eagles. Here we go, past the red line. Now into the attack. Weaving around by the left circle. Shot fired. Save. And now it's pickpocketed, but gets back to Engelman, who scored a goal in this one. Engelman just backhands it through the zone behind the net. Nebraska will pick it up. And it's up to the left point. Trying to weave it. Florida Gulf Coast is moving the puck efficiently. They want this chance to really put Nebraska away. 5:43 to go. 1 minute in the power play now for Florida Gulf Coast. They have the one-man advantage as the puck is pushed alongside the far corner. And now it's all the way by Jared Birch. 44 seconds left in the power play.
Yeah, Florida Gulf Coast can get one here in the power play. That would pretty much do it here in this game. Everything except for just seal it for sure, as that buzzer would, will sound here in about 5:16 when is left in the clock. But it would do everything but seal it for Florida Gulf Coast, and almost feels like it is already pretty much sealed with a 4-1 lead on the power play as well.
Yeah, and you obviously, you know a lot about this pool. Going forward, who are some of the teams you're looking for? I mean, is Florida Gulf Coast a team that can contend for the championship?
I think they are. They're going to have a very tough time against Michigan tomorrow. Michigan is 2-0. Oh, that should be something. Finally, the call comes in. And a big hit late on the boards there. That's going to be a boarding call. We'll see how long Florida Gulf Coast holds the puck for.
Weaving into the slot. Point-blank chance. Stanchfield's out of the goal. It's a wide-open net.
A little bit of pushing and shoving there at the end of it. Man, oh man, that was a big boarding hit over here behind the net of Birch. But yeah, going back to it, if Florida Gulf Coast does hang on to this game, they'll be 1-1, Michigan 2-0. So if Michigan wins, they'll move on to the national semis. If Florida Gulf Coast were to win, and then Nebraska beat Fordham, well, if Michigan wins, they're in for sure. But if Florida Gulf Coast wins and then Nebraska either ties or beats Fordham, Florida Gulf Coast would go. Here's the interesting thing, though. Let's say Florida Gulf Coast beats Michigan tomorrow, and then Fordham beats Nebraska. You got 3 2-1 teams where Michigan beat Fordham, Fordham beat Gulf Coast beat Michigan, creates that 3-way tie where you can't go head-to-head matchups. It goes to the second tiebreaker. So this could be a fun pool to watch, especially if Florida Gulf Coast wins tomorrow. I want to figure out the time of those games. I'm going to go look, get those up right now, because depending on the time of the games, the second game could matter or it could not, and it's going to be a fun pool to watch tomorrow.
Yeah, you pull that up. Let us know what you find. 4:52 left in the game. A 3-goal lead here for Florida Gulf Coast. We've got a little break on the ice. They're trying to sort things out. 9 seconds left in the power play for the Eagles.
Well, there should be another one going up on the board. It just hasn't yet.
Exactly. You see now 2 men are in the box for Nebraska. They obviously haven't put it on the scoreboard yet. Now a shot, fire, saved by Stanchfield.
Oh, actually, it ended up being there's a guy in the Florida Gulf Coast bench that we didn't penalty box that we didn't see. So they gave coincidentals out there. I think they were 5 minutes apiece, so they might be done for the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. One of them's got his helmet off in the box.
So here, oh, sorry. But here's the time of those games tomorrow. University of Michigan and Florida Gulf Coast play at 4 o'clock. And then these two teams, Nebraska, trying to find it on here. I don't know. Oh, Nebraska will play at 1:30. So the interesting to watch thing, it'll turn into a winner-take-all game between Florida Gulf Coast and Michigan if Nebraska wins that. If Fordham wins it and then Gulf Coast wins, it'll be fun. That's for sure.
So Nebraska, the ability to play spoiler.
Yeah.
For some of these teams.
Yeah, they definitely can. And obviously they already knew it coming into this game that they were knocked out of pool play with losing to Michigan yesterday. Ooh, weird bounce there. Losing to Michigan yesterday and then Michigan winning again today to move to 2-0. So they already knew their faith coming in. So they're just trying to play spoiler, as you said.
3:51 to go in the game. I mean, you talk about this game and we get off the air, we move to tomorrow. The one thing you're going to say about this game is the shots. I mean, 56 for Florida Gulf Coast. You got something.
Yeah, we'll have a winner-take-all game tomorrow as well between 2-0 and actually there'll be 2 winner-take-all games between the 1 and 2s tomorrow, as it'll be USF taking on Sioux College at 7 p.m. Central Time in a winner-take-all game, and then Kansas and Fairfield will take on each other at 7:30 Central Time in a winner-take-all game. So from last year's D3 tournament, where only one game mattered on the last day, there's at least going to be 3 games that matter, as it looks like the only team to clinch. Actually, no team will clinch because it's the other division, Grand Valley, and they're playing right now.
So a lot to play for That USF Sioux game should be good. That's going to be one I have my eye on. A shot. And saved by Birch. But we still got stuff going down there on the ice. But USF Sioux is something I'm going to look out for. Sioux gave up 5 goals today. That was big. They pulled their goalie, so we'll see how that affects their strategy for tomorrow's game.
I've gotten the privilege over the regular season to call 3 of their games, and they're just a fantastic hockey team. You know, they just move the puck really well and everything like that. Fairfield, Kansas, though, I think that's the real game to watch, in my opinion, because I think that game could really go either way, where I think Sioux College should beat USF from what I've seen this year out of Sioux College.
Yeah, Fairfield, that's my home state, Connecticut. My father actually went to Fairfield.
Oh, a little bit of home cooking then on your end, huh?
And he was also an athlete, baseball captain for a couple years. Really wish I got the chance to watch him play, but we're watching these guys, little extracurricular stuff as the puck just floats right in front of us here.
Number 6 is heading to the box for Nebraska. I believe that is Justin Bonfils, and
you would be correct.
There you go. And, this game's getting a little chippy. I think refs got to control it here. They just got to get through the last 2:41 here.
Yeah, 2:41 to go, like you said. We got another penalty up on the board.
Another score update on the other sheet of the ice. Grand Valley and Farmingdale State College tied at 2 with 1:15 left in that second period.
Ooh, so that's exciting. You can catch all the action on the ACHA network. Make sure you tune into ACHA tonight, the recap show. You'll have D3 highlights coming at you. You got Captain Lou coming in.
As well as women's D1 and D2 highlights, as those two tournaments got kicked off today as well.
Yes, so correct. Shot chance. Florida Gulf Coast is continuing to pepper the net. They don't care that they're up 3. They want as many goals as they can get.
Well, and you know why, too, because I think they're realizing goal differential might be a huge tiebreaker in this pool. As I mentioned, there could be a 3-way tie possibly, depending on the games go tomorrow. They've almost now doubled the shots that Nebraska had, 60-31. They had 12 after the first period. We thought they had a good offense that first period. They've dominated since the start of the second.
Yeah. Complete domination. They try to feed it in front now, and they're going to get a score.
Off a rebound there, it was number 28. I believe that's his second of the game, Craig Fitzgerald. He buries it for Florida Gulf Coast, and it's 5-1.
Yeah, Fitzgerald gets on the board. Makes it 5-1. So there's been 5 different goal scorers for Florida Gulf Coast. So they don't have 1 or 2 guys. They got a slew of people who can attack the net and finish. 61-31 now, that shot total. And with under 2 minutes to go.
You know, I really didn't see this after the first period. It was 1-1. Nebraska had more shots. Oh, big body laid there. But I really did not see this. I thought Florida Gulf Coast might come away with the win because, you know, them being the 1 seed, Nebraska being the 3 seed. But, man, it was such a close and tight game. You know, only the offense really continued for Florida Gulf Coast. Nebraska has a total of 14 shots in the second and third period right now.
That's something to look for going forward. This Florida Gulf offense seems to have woken up. They only scored twice yesterday, now 5 goals today. And a very a dominating win, a very convincing win here on day 2 of the men's D3 national championships in this pool. Under a minute now. I mean, what more can you say about the offensive attack? Weaved in, cross. Out to the slot, shot save by Stanchfield, who stayed in goal all game.
Another penalty coming up here for a slash. Looks like it's against Nebraska, I believe. It's number 10 heading to the box. That number 10, that's Joseph Coding.
Yeah, but my question is, Jared, if you end this game, Florida Gulf Coast, you're in the locker room, you're thinking about tomorrow. I mean, what kind of what negatives happened in this game for you? What do you have to work on? Because, I mean, look at the shots. You look at the score. I mean, what did they do wrong? Did they do anything wrong today?
I think it's cleaning up the play in the first period. A lot of yelling here kind of from the crowd on the Nebraska side especially. But, yeah, it's cleaning up that first period. They got outplayed in that first period, bottom line. I'm gonna also assume Birch is going to get the start for Florida Gulf Coast tomorrow after how he's played today.
And now a shot. The puck's out in front of the net with 30 seconds to go. Veralt tried to glove it down. Can't get it. He's got to chase after it. The flow coming out of his helmet. There's 25 seconds to go in the game. But, yeah, all right, you're right. First period, I mean, everything you've said today I've really agreed with. But because the second and third periods are clear.
I don't know if there really is much you can clear them. Maybe I was going to say the first half of that double minor was not their best power play, but then again, you're not going to have a good power play every single power play as the buzzer sounds. So the final score now 5-1 Florida Gulf Coast.
Right. So the final buzzer now 5-1 your final. Florida Gulf Coast taking down Nebraska in a game that was close early. Florida Gulf Coast ran away with it 64-31. The shots, 5 different goal scorers for Florida Gulf Coast, and then the lone goal for Nebraska. Chris Brown, 14-47. Engelman scored 9-10 into the game. Veralt got on the board 4 minutes, 33 seconds into the second period. And then Cohen, 11 minutes, 30 seconds into the third period. Lundqvist, Fitzgerald to round it out. So a great game. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. Florida Gulf Coast has got to take on Michigan, and that'll be a good game.
That's a must-win again for them because if Michigan wins that, they'll finish pool play 3-0 and win it. So, and we'll also keep an eye on that the Fordham-Nebraska game before because that determines if it's a winner-take-all game or if there can be, a scenario where we go to tiebreakers and things like that.
Yeah, so a lot of games on the slate for tomorrow. Games ending here today. Make sure you check out ACHA Tonight, the recap show. This has been the ACHA Network. For everybody who put this show together, the camera people, the cameramen and women, the producer, everyone. For you, for Jared Nyland, I'm Justin DeVellis, signing off from Plano. This has been ACHA Hockey on the ACHA Network.